Thank you for coming. As Chaitanya, he already explained, some of you, maybe half of you were here, how this is the appearance day of the Supreme Lord in his last incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 500 years ago, actually 450 years ago, Krishna Das, Kaviraj Goswami, he compiled the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you. And so this is a book that depicts some of the major events in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's in Bengali, so if we have any Bengalis here? Any Bengalis? This is not Bengali, but it is. You can do it. I don't. If I had Bengali, so we skip the Bengali and we just go straight to the translation. So please repeat after me, loudly and clearly. But Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Janardana Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Purnima Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Janardana Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Purnima Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Janardana Jaya Chandra Jaya Gaura Purnima Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Janardana Jaya Chandra Jaya Gaura Purnima. So here's a glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will read the English translation and the purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges waters of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. The rivers flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. Purport. Our tongues always engage in vibrating useless sounds that do not help us realize transcendental peace. The tongue is compared to a desert because a desert needs a constant supply of refreshing water to make it fertile and fruitful. Water is the substance most needed in the desert. The transient pleasure derived from mundane topics of art, culture, politics, sociology, dry philosophy, poetry, and so on, is compared to a mere drop of water, because although such topics have a qualitative feature of transcendental pleasure, they're saturated with the modes of material nature. Therefore, neither collectively nor individually can they satisfy the vast requirements of the desert-like tongue. Despite crying out in various conferences, therefore, the desert-like tongue continues to be parched. For this reason, people from all parts of the world must call for the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are compared to swans swimming around the beautiful lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or bees humming around his lotus feet in transcendental pleasure, searching for honey. The dryness of material happiness cannot be moistened by so-called philosophers who cry for Brahman, liberation, and similar dry speculative objects. The urge of the soul proper is different. The soul can be solaced only by the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his many bona fide devotees, who never leave the lotus feet of the Lord to become imitation Mahaprabhus, but all cling to his lotus feet like bees that never leave a honey-soaked lotus flower. It continues, but here the Prabhupada is stressing the point of the tongue, as we all experienced before. So there's several usages of the tongue. A small child, and I hope I don't have to compete too much with the small children today here. Small children, they find out very fast what is the usage of the tongue. They produce some funny sound. Every kid, small kid, has its particular sound. They find out a beat, a certain pattern, or they make hagudu, hagudu, whatever, simple sound, and it's very pleasing to them because they find out what is that actually is the body, I can use it. So the tongue can be used for tasting also. So the tongue is explained to be the most difficult sense of all the five senses to control. And therefore, this very simple process, as everyone experienced before, it's a very simple process that has been introduced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, God himself, in this age of Kali Yuga. Because human beings, even if you go to holy places, the holiest of the holy places in India, people, they're still speculating and they're trying to fulfill their material desires, even in the most holy places. So, what to speak of Copenhagen, Amsterdam, London, all these places where people there using their tongue for something completely different. So much stress is actually put on the usage of the tongue, and therefore there's a very nice verse that was spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which introduces the idea of chanting the holy names of God 24 hours a day. Yes. And this verse, you may know, but it goes Trinat api sumichana taror adi sahi shrina manadena kirtaniya sadhari. So in that small section of verse, you get more information about the nature of the soul and how to come to the absolute platform of God realization or self-realization that you find in the entire library of Copenhagen. All the books in the world, they don't precisely describe how to actually attain God realization and perfection of life as this verse does. It's a very profound verse, and our acharyas have said that we should wear this verse around our neck, meaning that we should take the meaning of this verse to our heart, and we should live according to it. So Trinat api sunijana taror abish sahishnuna. It means that one should be more tolerant than a tree. One should be humble as a blade of grass. One should be without desire for honor, and one should respect all others. And in this way, one will be able to actually chant the holy name 24 hours a day. So actually, what I am thinking when I hear this, when it goes through my mind right now, that the process of self-realization, it means to develop your personality. It is very modern nowadays also that you have a counselor, you have a mentor, you have a psychiatrist, psychologist, like this. And it is in fact so that yoga is not something mechanical that we perform, but it's a process of introspectiveness where we want to actually perceive ourselves and our present state. So this Krishna consciousness movement that has been introduced by Srila Prabhupada in the West, which was brought down from the spiritual world, Golokera, Premadana, Harinama Sankirtan, that this chanting of Hare Krishna, it has been imported from the spiritual world, directly from the spiritual world, only 500 years ago. According to the Vedas, life is continuous. It's not something that just appears. It's continuous. There's 4 ages. And we're actually in the last age, which is the most unfortunate age. In this age, it is explained that people, they're misguided, they're confused, and they're lazy, and most of all, they're always disturbed. Always disturbed. How are they disturbed? Well, they're disturbed like we see the material world and we identify with this material world. This is our disease. No one in this room can say that they don't identify with the material body to some degree. No one here can say that they don't identify with their material body or their birth or the language they speak. They think they have some nationality. So, in fact, as the information we get here, that the soul properly, the pure spirit soul, is completely above that. And all the material necessities that we are looking to fulfill in this material world, they are, to some degree, they're needed for the maintenance of the body. But for the soul, there is only one interest, and that is to be self-realized. That is the food of the soul. The food of the soul is to hear about the constitutional position, the real identity, our real identity. Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma Yatu Bhakti, that the highest dharma of human beings is to serve God. And through this service, continuously, without interruption, there is actually satisfaction. So that is the nature of the soul, to look for satisfaction. We're looking for satisfaction. The problem is, we are looking for the satisfaction in the wrong place, due to our misidentification with the body. So therefore, there is one good quality in this Kali Yuga. There is so many bad things, so many unfortunate things, so much quarrel over nothing. People, they start quarrels over nothing. And they waste their whole energy. They waste their whole life like this, due to misfortune of having taken birth in this Kali Yuga. But there is one good quality, actually, it is stated in the Shastra. And it may sound a little fanatic, but that one good quality is this very simple chanting of holy names. Because when we actually engage in this chanting, with that sound vibration, which is vibrated by our tongue, like Prabhupada, he says, in the purport, he says, well, so many people, they're trying to speak and adjust and explain and influence others by philosophy, by politics. But obviously, we can see we have all possibilities in the Western world. We have all facilities. But how much is that helping? The world we're living in is becoming more and more degraded. It is becoming more and more suffering is there. More and more people, they take drugs. More and more people, they need medicine. More and more people, they become prisoner of their senses, prisoner of their mind. So that chanting, this simple process of chanting with the tongue, vibrating the names of Krishna, it's so simple that it's actually, for the mind it's difficult to accept that something so sublime as God realization can be attained by something so simple, by only chanting the names of God. Our mind, we have a problem accepting that. The process of bhakti yoga, the process of self-realization depends on our faith. Because as Prabhu Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, he earlier said, he said that if we only had faith, then we could give up all our material desires. If we only had faith, that simply by coming to the spiritual platform, simply by doing service to the Lord, through this very simple chanting, then all necessities, they can be achieved. Everything can be achieved. It can be achieved through just this very simple process. Everything will be relieved or revealed in due course of time if one can surrender to that process. But the mind is our enemy, actually. It is also our friend, but it is our enemy. So it is stopping us again and again, over and over and over. Continuously. And it takes it is a hard struggle, very hard struggle, to get out of this material world. Why? Because Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So he reserves the right. He reserves the right to remain in peace. From, like Prabhupada, I read it the other day, I read all these flapping bodies. If you look around Copenhagen, people, they're just flapping their limbs. They're just vibrating useless sound vibrations. It's for no use. Every day they buy a newspaper and then they throw it away. Every day. Like this. What's the use? We have the books, these books that has been translated by Srila Prabhupada, which has come in a disciplic succession. They're practically eternal, just like the chanting of Hare Krishna. So this information which has been given to us, it is ever new and ever fresh. Why? Because by hearing this message, which is also very simple, that we are spirit souls, our nature is to do service. So right now we think, oh, I should serve my body. We don't see that because we just identify with the body. But we're actually, when we're eating useless things, when we're producing useless sound vibrations with our tongue, when we're doing so many things in our life which has no connection at all with the soul, we're serving the body, we're serving society, we're serving our family, we're serving our friends, we're serving our desires, but it takes us nowhere. Actually, it just leaves us here in this material world. Because, like Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu also said, that being stagnant, even if you don't move, even if you're trying to practice Krishna consciousness, but you're not putting enough endeavor, enough desire behind it, enough love, affection, if we don't put enough affection into the chanting, then it has little effect, because while we are chanting Hare Krishna and inviting God into our life, we are thinking of so many other things. I want this, I want that. I want a car, I want a wife and a house by the sea. Jai Jagadish Hare. So, and what does that help? Krishna, he's willing. He does not give bhakti, which is the love of Godhead. He does not give that easily. Why does he not give that easily? Because he becomes the servant. So he doesn't want to give it easily. But it is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the dealings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his devotees, that he was ready and willing to serve his devotees. Only today I heard someone say that he was willing to wash the clothes of his devotees. He was ready to feed his devotees Haridas Thakur. He would actually go out of his way to serve his devotees, because the devotees, they are very dear to Krishna. When we follow the process of God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, we come to the spiritual platform. And this is not something that can be imitated cheaply. It is a process where we have to give up everything material. And in the mature stage of Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, then actually you become equal in one sense. That is the kind of oneness we're looking for. That we become equal with God in desire, in thoughts, and in words. So all these temples around the world, Hare Krishna temples, they are embassies. Embassies of the spiritual world. And those who are carefully practicing Krishna consciousness, serving like this, they're becoming ambassadors, or how do you say, in consulates, consulars. Yeah. Prabhupada, he put so much stress on the word bhaj. From this word comes bhajan. And often we see when people, they go to church, they go to worship. But Prabhupada, he preferred another meaning, because worshipping has become something very cheap, that we perform some ritual, we go to church, and we go for Christmas and Easter, and we go to celebrate the birth, and we go to mourn the dead. But it's not something cheap like that. The real meaning of bhaj, in Prabhupada's very practical meaning, or attempt to make us understand what is needed, is actually that the word means service. And so we should ask ourselves, what can I do? Like, we know, Second World War, there was a famous poster. It said, what can you... How is it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, don't ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. So I saw a funny comic strip, and some character was wondering how God feels like, because everyone knows how it feels like when someone comes to us and they express their love and affection, but they have so many desires. They want so many things for us. Oh, I love you, but I want this and that and that. It's very annoying. This is not love. So this comic strip, this person, he was wondering, what does God feel like? Because everybody wants, even in our daily prayers, if you stand in front of God, and you decide, what comes to mind? Oh, please help me this, please help me that, oh, please, I'm fallen, please help me to come out of the material world to be, help me this, help me that, I want this, I want that. And this is even in a spiritual society, not to speak of all the desires of people, of ordinary people who are... So how tolerant is Krishna? How tolerant is God with us? That even though we have all these material desires, we are chanting, but we're thinking of all these things we want. How tolerant He is. We're trying, life after life, we're trying to become happy in this material world. But still, He's sitting in the tree, as two birds are in the tree, explained in the Upanishads. Krishna, He's the one bird sitting in the tree, and we are the other bird. The tree is the body, the two birds is the soul and the spirit, or the Paramatma, Krishna, His localized representative, who's in the heart. And the bird, Krishna, the Paramatma, the super soul, is simply watching the soul. What does he want? What is he doing? What is he doing? But the other soul, the other bird, is very busy eating the fruit of the tree, which is all kinds of material desires, all kinds of speculations, trying to enjoy in this material world. So he is simply sitting there, tolerantly waiting for us after lifetimes and lifetimes, millions of lifetimes. Because we might get, an accident may appear, even in the temple, something may happen. This is the material world. So, patiently, He is sitting there, waiting for us to look at Him, to try to take a step towards Krishna, to try to take a step towards Him. And this, Krishna, he has full, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has full knowledge. He knows everything. He is in the heart of all living entities. He's inside all atoms. He knows everything. Nothing can be hidden from Him. So He knows. He knows. So this process of chanting Hare Krishna, which is actually a science, sound vibration is meant to go, be vibrated by the tongue, go in the ear, go through the mind, and make its way towards the heart, into the heart, and purify